Hey Brian, what's up?
Hey Drew, how's it going, man?
Pretty good. You excited to be on another episode of the Nostalgia Blast podcast after dark?
Of course, I can't wait to get started.
So, what are we talking about today?
Well, I think we're going to be talking about a little bit of musical nostalgia.
All right, awesome. So, anything spurring on this conversation?
Yeah, Stranger Things season 4 sort of has been sweeping the nation, and I don't know, just all the musical sort of, I don't know, references or whatever you want to call them. I don't know, just kind of inspired this conversation. So,
Yeah, I thought it was really cool how, there's not really any references in culture or media or whatever like that to like metalheads and stuff like that. And we had like a really cool metalhead with Eddie Munson, like front and center.
yeah, well, first of all, he just was knocked that role out of the park as an actor.
Oh, yeah.
And just like the fact that he actually learned how to shred that song for his role, like that. I don't know. I like that. I feel like it shows that they actually care about what they're doing.
Yeah, I heard about that because it's like if he's going to be playing it on camera, you don't want him to look unnatural while he's playing it, you know? You want it to look like he's actually playing the song. And I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
sorry
sure
for.
it wasn't his audio in the show, but still, like the fact
Yeah.
that he could play it, yeah, it was. Anyway, that got me thinking. I think you were feeling the same way, but just that sort of like rebirth of songs that come from them being introduced to a new generation of people through some sort of medium, in this case, a TV show. Uh, but like these were songs that maybe not necessarily were forgotten, but weren't really remembered.
Yeah,
If that
I
makes
kind
sense.
of like to think of it as like rediscovered. It's kind of like when you go to a garage sale and like somebody is getting rid of something, but it's old to them, but it's new to you. And I think that's something that's really cool about media in general is like when people can rediscover something old that is good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, musical discovery has really sort of evolved and changed a lot with
Hmm.
the, just with Spotify and all the streaming services and everything. You're not finding music the way you used to, like where you would back in the '90s. We'd go to, I don't know, like a cousin's house and look through their CD collection, or go to the record store or whatever, and those are still sort of a thing. They were CD stores more than record stores, but
Yeah.
just flipping through racks, and you only had enough money to buy an album, so you slapped on those public headphones and tried to settle on an album that you wouldn't hate.
And it's funny because like you might find like some new music that way, but the easiest way to find like stuff that you really liked, it would be a track that was like in a movie that you watched or a TV show, and you're just like, what was that song? And you'd just be like scouring for that song or find somebody like, hey, did you see this episode of Lost or whatever? Like, what was that song? I don't think Lost played anything like that or anything like
No,
that, but
I actually discovered some songs from Lost. So one was God, um, I know it's called Delicate. I can't remember the um, Damien Rice, I think, is maybe the artist.
mm,
Yeah, but Hurley plays it on the beach, like at the end of one. They always play
okay.
like ended episodes with music.
Yeah, that's what I kind of remember. Um, anyways, just kind of going back to it or whatever, the one thing that kind of bugged me with it was just kind of seeing how some people were reacting negatively to people discovering this music. It's sort of like the whole hipster type thing where they're like, I liked it before it was cool type mentality, and I always think that's really stupid.
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with somebody new discovering something through like a show or something
Hmm.
like I didn't those two songs, Running Up the Hill and Master,
Master
they
Puppets.
both like reemerge onto the charts
Yeah.
after the show. Like that's a great thing, not only for fans but also for the artists. I mean, not that Metallica needs any more money, but I mean, I'm sure Kate Bush was pretty happy with having a song she wrote like 40 years ago back on like the top of the charts.
Yeah, the other day, my wife Katie, she was driving. I think she's driving to work or something like that, and she just started hearing Kate Bush on the radio, and she was super confused about it because we weren't watching Stranger Things yet. We were catching up on some other show before we started watching Stranger Things. And she's like, why are they playing Kate Bush on the radio? And then we watched the episode where they play the Kate Bush song, and then she's like, oh, it makes sense now.
Yeah, I admit I didn't know that song. I kind of feel like I don't know, I'm kind of happy with my musical knowledge, but clearly I mean, it's nothing close to being complete or anything, but I didn't know that song. I think I've seen it. Kind of sounded vaguely familiar, but I don't know. It's a really great song, and I'm glad that they chose it to use like that, because I feel like I have a new song to add to like sort of my like a Spotify
Repertoire
playlist
music,
or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard. I heard. I haven't seen the picture, but Katie was telling me that she saw a picture of Metallica, like they were dressed up like Eddie, just as like
Yeah.
a shout out to Stranger Things.
Yeah, I heard something about that. I don't know. Just one of those countless clickbait articles that you see the headline for and you don't actually bother to actually
Yeah,
click on.
yeah. I was trying to find the picture, but apparently typing Metallica Eddie Munson doesn't really find you a whole lot other than Eddie just like shredding on top of his trailer or whatever in the Upside Down.
Yeah, I did like how Dustin was like kneeling like
Two's
2 feet away from like these giant like stacked amps. Like he would have no hearing left after this.
Hey, for all of the belief that you suspend for Star
That's
Wars,
no,
you
that's
can
the
suspend
one.
disbelief for
No,
that.
that's the one that ruined it for me. All immersion was lost at that moment.
You stopped. You just threw a brick through your television screen right then. Can't unwatchable.
Yeah, no, but going back to your other point about like movie soundtracks and shows and stuff, I think a big one for a lot of people our age, people that grew up in the '90s, video game soundtracks were kind of like a big avenue to discovery of new music for two reasons. I think one, because you played them incessantly because you only had a couple of games usually, and the other reason is I think most video games like had the track list somewhere in like you could either in the manual when those still existed with games or in the game itself, like you would actually be able to figure out who the band was and what the song was without like a big wild goose chase. So I don't know, did that happen with you at all? I think we're both gonna have like the same sort of story here.
Yeah, I think we both have the same example probably for video games because definitely the number one. Well, there's definitely two because I'll leave the other one for you because I just thought of another one. One that like introduced me to a ton of like rock music would have been Guitar Hero.
Okay, I think that's probably a huge one for so many people.
Oh yeah, it's got to be for people that are younger than us. Like that introduced people to a ton of music, Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and stuff. Like I never listened to a lot of metal growing up. That's just not my genre of music. But
Yeah.
I kind of got an appreciation for some metal from Guitar Hero.
Yeah, I remember I only had one version of it ever. God, I can't remember. It was like Guitar Classics or something like that.
Okay.
It was the one with Slash on the cover. Do you remember that one?
That might have been like 3
Yeah, it was. That was the
or
only one
something.
I
I
had.
don't know.
And
I could be wrong.
yeah, the first thing you fire up, you're like looking for the songs but once you play those enough, you're like, all right, I guess I'm checking these other ones. And
Yeah.
but there was also the story mode too that forced you to play new ones. So yeah, that was actually a big one. I can't believe we didn't think of that beforehand.
Yeah, I mean the thing about it was even if there were songs you didn't know and you were doing like the story mode, because you'd only have like 5 songs at the beginning, so you'd have to unlock them by doing the story mode. And you're like, I gotta get through these songs, and like you'd start playing through the set list that they had, and you'd start like finding songs you're like, I really like that song, and you'd just kind of play it over and over again. Like some of the I think there was some Foo Fighters music on there that I had listened to a little bit of Foo Fighters growing up, but then I
Yeah,
was like,
kind of
oh
hard
man,
to avoid them.
this is really good music.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Foo Fighters fan. I think they're fine. I just,
Yeah.
I'm not like ever like going, oh man, the Foo Fighters. But that just brought back this memory of my Guitar Hero controller. Something was wrong with it, I swear, because it would never activate that star power thing when I wanted it to.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, slamming it up and down like you're supposed to like tip
Mm-hmm.
the neck up or whatever, and it would activate.
Mine did that sometimes too.
It just
though.
would never. When I wanted it to go off, it would never go off, and then it would just go off at like times where I couldn't score points because there was just like nothing happening.
I remember wanting to like slam that stupid controller so many times because you'd get that exact situation. You're playing and you have like what was it 4 times or whatever. You
What do you mean 4 times?
so like you would get your score multiplier based
Oh,
off of like
yeah.
not missing notes, and you had to not miss notes for a certain amount of time to get the 4 times multiplier. Well, then you'd be lifting up the neck to
It would
try to get to
make you miss
play.
them.
Yeah, you'd miss a note, and then it would activate when you put it back down, and you had no multiplier. And you're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like,
And
why are you working now?
that controller could have done some damage too if you start swinging it around.
Oh yeah,
But to bring up another game, I think this was kind of influential on both of our sort of musical development. But definitely Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
yeah. I saw memes like after the whole Eddie scene, where it was Eddie like holding up Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, which we got ours from 1 because we're a little bit older, I
Yeah.
think. But he's holding up Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, and it's the scene where he's like, "But this is music" or whatever.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that soundtrack on that game was maybe not 100% kid appropriate for when we
Oh
were playing
yeah,
it, but I think that most of that stuff went over our head for some of the songs. But I mean, obviously everybody knows Superman by Goldfinger and
oh yeah.
wait, Goldfinger? Is that right?
Goldfinger's the band.
Yeah, okay. So okay. I want to make sure I didn't say the band wrong. Like I'm acting like this is like this huge song for me. I don't even know the band. Um yeah, I think I almost said Gold Member, which is a stupid Austin Powers movie.
Yeah, that introduced me to like the Dead Kennedys because there's Police Truck
Yeah.
in that one, and I started listening to some like punk rock music after that.
Yeah, it was definitely that directional focus because that was just sort of the music that kind of was in the skate culture.
Yeah.
It's not like they were going to be playing pop or country or something.
Was the other one? There's like Jerry was a race car driver.
Yeah, there was a Primus track maybe? We should pull up the track list. Can you pull that up?
Yeah, let me find it real quick.
Also, if you can pull up the this track list for Dave Mira's Freestyle BMX, I think was the name.
Oh yeah, that my favorite song on that was the one Sublime song. Like
Yeah, What I Got.
yeah, what I got. Like that was probably my introduction to Sublime. And
Oh, you know what? I just thought of another example while you look those up. A band. I actually just came up with two examples. Look at me. One's a video game, one's from a movie. But I remember. Do you remember when Borderlands came out? It was kind of like a big deal.
mm-hmm.
And that opening like cutscene was playing Cage the Elephant.
Oh yeah.
That one song. I can't think of the name of the song.
I
right
know
now, but,
which one you're talking about.
but that introduced me to Cage the
Cage the
Elephant, which is
Elephant.
a band that I really still like today.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a really cool scene. And then I remember, do you remember the movie Zombieland? I think that came out like 2007 or something. So it's
Yeah.
not super nostalgic, but one of the ending scenes, and this is a spoiler alert, I guess, if you haven't seen Zombieland by now.
Sorry, you've had plenty of time, people.
But towards the end, they play a Black Keys song.
Mm-hmm.
Your Touch, I think, is the track.
Was that the first time you heard Black Keys?
I think it was, and I looked up. I was like, that song sounds so cool, and I looked
Yeah.
it up right away. That was back when I was using. There was some stupid app that like.
Shazam or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
I wasn't. I was weird. I was using some like
Alternative.
Yeah,
one.
there was like some other one, and yeah, I remember looking it up. I'm like, oh man, Black Keys, and then I listened to nothing but the Black Keys for like the next month.
Yeah. Yeah. So from that Tony Hawk Pro Skater, there's Police Truck, Here and Now.
What are the bands? Is there a Primus? Am I making that up?
No, it's Primus.
Okay.
Did Jerry was a race car driver.
Okay, see, my memory is it exists. It's just not
Yeah.
specific.
Suicidal Tendencies with that Psycho Vision song that we were obsessed
yeah.
with. I don't think I would ever listen to any songs by that band now, but
I'd listen to that one again for the
yeah.
the nostalgia of it.
Yeah, but the funny thing about, the structure of that game with it being like a 2-minute run or whatever trick, I don't remember what was it called again?
A run,
Okay.
a session.
I don't remember. It has a specific
It was
game
definitely
mode.
run because I remember us hitting start, restart, or like pause, restart so many times. It was definitely called because it said end run on the menu. So yeah, it was called a run.
But it's funny because like it's only 2 minutes long, and the songs are only 2 minutes long because that's the max amount of time that you could play the game. So
Right. Was there any other mode that there was? Were you always tied to that 2 minute?
you were always tied to the 2 minutes because
Okay.
even if you did the the story mode or whatever, the campaign, you had 2 minutes
Yeah, because that
to
added the challenge of like
yeah.
actually accomplishing stuff.
Yeah, so you would only hear 2 minutes of the song. So like when I listen to the songs now, I'll listen to maybe the first 2 minutes and I'm like, all right, I'm getting to unknown territory right
Yeah,
now.
it was actually kind of cool because you got to hear the whole song. It was like even a
hmm
slightly different experience. Was the one on there? Was there with the word murder in the title? Is the one with that bass solo? Oh, you know what?
Screamer, nothing to me.
No, I'm
Speed
thinking of.
dealer.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the other track list. You have the Dave Mirra one. It's
Oh,
on that.
okay. Let me find the Dave Mirra. What was that game called again?
Dave
Dave
Mirra
Mirra's Freestyle.
Freestyle BMX. Rest in peace, by the way, Dave Mirra.
He's dead.
Yeah, he passed away. I don't know, maybe 5 years ago or something. I think he had a. It was like it wasn't like expected. I think he maybe had an aneurysm or something.
Oh, well, probably from wrecking his bike too many times.
Nah, aneurysms are. They mean anybody can just get one anytime.
Yeah, true.
I could drop dead right now. Yeah, I've been a hell of a thing if I actually did.
All right, so Dave, yeah, that would have freaked me out. Anyways, Sublime, what I got?
Yeah,
Dust by Cypress Hill.
yeah, I like that song a lot. It,
Maxwell Murder.
yeah,
Is
that's
that
what I
what
was
you're
thinking
thinking
of.
of?
There's this like
Rancid.
crazy bass solo. Like it's only the whole song's only like a minute long, but there's this bass solo and it's just insane.
It's got some Dropkick Murphys in there.
Yeah,
Never Alone.
I love that track list. It's so good. There's some couple like hip hop flavor tracks like what's the one at the end? It's by Gangstar. Uh, what is it? It's like one of the last tracks.
I don't see it.
What kind of track list did you pull up? I know it's on the game.
I see Swingin' Utters.
Yeah,
Stupid Lullabies.
yeah.
Got It All in Sight. Greed by Pennywise.
Greed is really good. I like that song a lot.
Loose, Primer
Oh,
55.
Loose is really good too. I love this track list.
We got Don't Drag Me Down.
Yeah, by wait,
Social Distortion.
I was
Sorry.
gonna guess. Damn,
Deftones, Be Quiet and Drive Far Away.
that's a good song.
I don't see the one you were just saying.
No, there's definitely a Gangstar song on there. It doesn't matter. It's on there. Believe me.
I don't.
I've listened
you.
to. I've
I'm
played the
looking
game
and
long enough.
I don't believe you.
Well, then the Spotify official track list for the game is wrong.
This fandom page made by this crazy Dave Mirra freestyle BMX fan disagrees with you, Brian.
He's not a true fan.
I guess so.
I actually have I have the game and Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2, which came out on PS2.
Ooh.
I own both of those games still. They're in a big plastic tote in my closet.
We should pull them out sometime and play them for nostalgia's sake.
You know, I would be down for that because I love both of those games.
So, is there any like music besides like present day music like hits and stuff like that that you were introduced to by like movies or anything like that? I'm like talking like oldies or stuff like that.
No, I was a weird kid and I listened to oldies, so
Yeah.
I like knew all of them, like that kind of song. I used to love this listening to the oldie station the most.
Yeah, I like listening to the oldies a lot too, but there was like the one movie I can think of where it had a soundtrack that like all of the songs in it, I loved listening to them and I just like sought those songs out was Remember the Titans.
Yeah, it's a good soundtrack.
Yeah, I just loved all the music in that.
Sandlot is pretty good.
I don't remember a lot of is it like 50s, 60s songs
Yeah,
or something?
Wipeout, Tequila.
Okay.
That one when he like sexually assaults a lifeguard, which that scene would not fly at all
Yeah.
today. Like this magic moment or whatever. Yeah, it's like that kind of stuff.
You know, the thing I was just thinking about the other day, and I was listening to oldies, and basically, the thing that's kind of weird is just how when I turn on an oldie station now, I can hear 80s music, and it's considered oldies.
I think 90s is starting to be on those stations.
It's true. I mean, it's true that 90s is 30 years old
Yeah.
now, so it's like it can be played on an oldie station, but when we were younger, the oldies was like those songs, like the 50s and 60s music, and it's kind of hard to find those on oldie stations now.
Yeah, are they going to start a new genre of station, super oldies? Or is that going to start becoming classical music?
I think you're gonna have to like really work hard to like seek that music out. Like you're not gonna be able to tune to a radio station and just
Yeah.
start listening to
Well,
that.
is radio gonna die already? People have been promising me that for the last 20 years, and it hasn't happened yet.
I think as long as they continue to be installed in cars, radios will just always be a thing, because sometimes, like, I don't feel like getting my phone out and, like, streaming something through Bluetooth. Um, and,
No, I agree with you, but I honestly would rather listen to silence than radio commercials.
I don't know, I kind of disagree. There's something nostalgic about the radio, and it's just like,
There is. I can only be shouted at about different products for so long, though, before I lose my mind.
yeah, but, you going on a short ride, you might just tune to your favorite oldie station, and you might have to listen to an ad about some local lawyer, but you might also get to listen to one of your favorite oldies.
It's true. There is something special about when you just throw the radio on and a song you love is just playing already.
Oh, yeah.
But there is also that risk of it being the end of the song, and you're like, damn,
Yep.
wish I would have tuned in a little earlier.
Should have gotten in the car 2 minutes before. And you know what? When you do have that perfect moment and one of your songs is just playing, you can put the windows down and you just can cruise down, and, like, you're listening to your favorite music, and you can make other people listen to it if you turn it up loud enough.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't get like a road rage incident or something these days. I don't know, man. I just try to keep to myself. But yeah, musical discovery is changing, and it's I don't know, it's still there though. It's always going to be there. There's always going to be people discovering music they never heard of before. I bet, when your son gets a little older, he's going to like come to you one day. He's going to be like, Dad, I found this new band. You're not going to believe how great they are.
It's called Chumbawamba.
Or yeah, it's called Led Zeppelin or something. It's like, you're going to be like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the people are going to be discovering music forever. And it's a really cool thing. Everyone has their own story about it. And just, I don't know. It's a cool thing to talk about. That's for sure.
Yeah. I love that, new shows, like Stranger Things, are introducing music to people this way, and I hope it continues to happen, because there's just so much good music out there, and it shouldn't just disappear into the ether.
Yeah, there's new music being created all the time. There's so many people making their own music, but there's still something to be said about the catalog of music that already exists, and it should still be paid attention to, because, it's that music that influenced the people that are making music today. So it's important to not only look forward, but also not look back, but just remember that there's good songs that exist that you haven't heard yet.
Yeah, and I think an important thing for people to remember is, if you are a fan of that music or the specific music that gets reintroduced to people, don't ever get mad about it. Just be happy that, new people are going to get to discover it and appreciate it.
No gatekeeping music. That's the rule of thumb.
Yeah, let's have new people discover it, and, maybe you won't have to listen to oldies anymore. There'll be somebody new that's making your type of music that you love.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Later.